Welcome to the first episode after the summer. My guest today is Kushal Raju. He is the founder of a startup called Exar Fit. The mission of this application is to help children build the everyday life ritual around health and wellness. It's a compelling story about his life and also what he went through in order to reach the stage where he is today. From having some difficult health challenges and also being obese and bullied introvert when he was young. This is a story that many children can relate to. But more importantly, it's not only about the children's health and wellness, but also looking at the future, the other generations, the seniors. How can we help them to have an everyday ritual and around health and wellness during their years?
When I was at the age of 19, I used to play basketball quite a lot, and suddenly one day it happened to me that I was completely out of energy. I fainted in the ground, and then after a series of tests, I was diagnosed blood cancer. So after that, it was a pretty tough time during the treatment. After 16 to 18 months of chemotherapy, when I completely finished it, due to a lot of medication and all of the food that I ate during this time, gave me a lot of weight. I was 95 kilos after my treatment, and yeah, completely obese. I had no idea how to go to the gym, how to lose weight, how to follow a proper diet. All of this was extreme difficulty for me because none of them were taught to me during my education, or my parents did not know all of this information at any point in time. So I started learning these things from scratch, little by little. I went to the gyms. I started asking the trainers at the gyms, and only to find out that 95% of them are untrained or uncertified. They have no idea what they're speaking about. They don't understand. They probably know how to lift weights, but or they probably know how to do a certain exercise, but this is way ahead, or way more science based than what we think it actually is. To be a personal trainer is to be a certified instructor who knows or who understands how the joints move, how the ligaments move, how everything in your body works, how they function, so that they can train you and everything. So during this period of time, I found out that there is a huge necessity for instructors to be certified. These people to be certified. In countries like in India, there are very few certification courses which are of really high standards. So I actually built a company called Blitzfit, where we bought completely these courses completely online from places like American Council on Exercise and also National Academy of Sports and Medicine. We bought these really high standard courses online, and yeah, we taught these courses in a completely different way, in a way it could be understood online. And we delivered these courses to a lot of people in the trainer industry in India. And being very close to these certified instructors and everything, I clearly saw how much demand there was for certified instructors. People started understanding that their trainers need to have more knowledge than just lifting weights or any of that sort. And I wanted to find a solution, a larger solution for a population of 1.4 billion people. You cannot train 14 million trainers. It's not possible to certify so many instructors. There needs to be a better solution, more scalable solution, so that it can help everybody. So that is when I thought of a solution that has to be way more immersive and also completely scalable. So there are YouTube videos, there are Zoom videos, but physical activities or dance or all of these things have to be more immersive. They have to be in a different in a different way of experience altogether. There has to be a two-way communication between. Whenever there's a trainer, the trainer is giving you inputs of how you're doing. He's making sure you're doing the things right and everything. So that is when XR, the idea was born. where we wanted to provide a completely immersive experience and also a two-way communication system based personal trainer or best physical activities for this thing. So there was a small idea born. There was a prototype built where we built 3D trainers who can, and also using artificial intelligence, we track using the camera how well you do the exercise and everything. But then I did not want to solve all the problems at once. And then a school from Bangalore, India came to us and said, we want to teach physical activities every day to children. We don't have the physical trainers or faculty to do this. How do we do this? They started asking us questions, and then that is when it hit me, and all of these things that previously of my experience came all together at once and said, this is what you need to do. And yeah, the XR for children started building at that point of time.
Well, that's very exciting. I think that I can really relate, and many people can relate to your story in the sense that even not having gone through such a life-changing experience where you're a cancer survivor, but to just see children who are obese and have overweight and suffering from heavy weights, and of course there is that bullying. There is maybe if you're an introvert and you have difficulty to deal with these things, and how you're going to manage your situation. So there must be some sort of way of help to get you to find yourself in a happier state of mind and through that health and wellness. So I think this is you are talking about India now, but I think this is throughout the world, even in North Europe or Finland, where I am, or in the Nordics, we have. I remember from school, mostly our sports instructor. They came from being either athletes themselves, but they did not know exactly how to teach children about about physical health. So we are focusing on playing basketball and playing football and running, but that's only part of the things. And of course, if you are a little bit overweight, then you cannot keep up with the rest of the kids. So this became an issue also. So there are these issues, but I think it's interesting to hear how you then moved on to in the school of Bangalore. How does it actually work for them, and what do they do?
Yes, I mean, whatever you said, I think I've been a victim of all of those parts, being vulnerable as a child and everything. And yes, it is 100% truth that it happens to a lot of children. And I think if less than 20% play sports, the other 80% are not doing any structured physical activities. And it is very important. And even for the people who play sports, it's very important. So coming to this point right now, how we have structured the solution for schools is that, so we have faced, I mean, to provide daily physical activities for a school, it is very hard for three main reasons, right? The first main reason is because they don't have faculty to teach every day. They don't have 45 to 60 minutes every day in school to teach physical activities, and children cannot sweat every day and sit in schools every day, right? So this is a huge problem. This is a problem that in the current education system at least cannot be easily solved just by live training. So that is the whole reason why we have a complete hybrid solutions. So right now in the hybrid solution, what we do is we motion capture certified instructors and then we convert them into animated trainers. So why we convert them into animated trainers? So when we're bringing physical activities to children, we have to bring physical activities in the way their environment already exists. So right now there are two things that are really important in their environment. One is video games and the other one is animations or cartoons, right? So that is exactly what we're doing. We motion capture certified instructors, properly trained instructors for different kinds of physical activities and convert them into cartoon trainers. So we create a complete schedule of properly structured exercises, which goes from beginner level to advanced over the course of period when they have to do, right? And this schedule is completely planned out based on everyday exercises that we record in the application. So the application currently contains, it's basically software as a service for schools. It contains two active users. One is the student and the other one is the PE teacher. So the PE teacher can teach once in a week, which he already does, and the rest of the days he can monitor how the students are actually doing. So how can he monitor? So for every class in every student in the school, we give them a proper login address and create their accounts for them, who have to come to our application and experience the exercise and also do it with them, right? So at the same time, while they're doing these 3D exercises, we use the camera from our mobile phone or the laptop, whatever device you're using, and we track their movements, right? We track how well they're doing it. In the current application, we already give them an information or give the teacher an information if the child has actually done the exercise or not. He cannot just turn the camera on and just move aside, right? So based on this, we give a certain thing called sweat points. These sweat points will help the student to go achieve different stages. Maybe he's an advanced student who wants to be a football player. Even for him, the supportive training is very important. So he has to go to the advanced stages of supportive training. When he does this more consistently, he automatically gets different kinds of exercises, which is way more personalized to him rather than everybody in the class.
So is, for instance, if the child is just starting, is it how many exercises are they doing? Is it like that covers like from top to toe, the different type of exercise for different muscle groups, or how does it practicality?
Yes. So we don't just teach one kind of physical activity. So body weight training is just one type of it. So every week we have 2 days of body weight training. We structure upper and lower body complete exercises in both these exercises. We try to cover almost all the muscles. If not, we try to cover the rest in the next week. But 2 weeks of training will be done for body weight training. 1 day of yoga will be taught. 1 day of dance will be taught, and 1 day of boxing, cardio, or martial arts, or something like this. So we combine all different physical activities.
So yoga, boxing, martial arts, and
yes,
that's quite comprehensive.
Yes, I think it is very essential for all of these things, because all of these physical activities provide certain quality in the person and certain growth in that child. Since these are the ages that the target market for us, or the target children for us, are the ages where they're growing and building their bone mineral density, and all of these different activities add in a different way to this thing.
And where does the fun element come? So they don't get bored.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So currently, the what we do is we convert them into cartoon trainers, right? And it is also in 3D. You can rotate the trainer however you want. You can zoom in, zoom in, zoom out. All of these things. There is the other part is that with your classroom, you have a group session. You can join, or you can all join together at a proper given time fixed for you. And the other element that we're adding is the gamified element, which is the video games that we are trying to combine, right? So since we can track through the camera how they're actually moving and what their pose and position is, we make it interactive, right? For instance, we are planning a game which is going to be released soon. Is that it's a game like Subway Surfer, where you jump and the trainer or the cartoon in the laptop also jumps, but you have to jump only when there is a prime number on top, right? So you're actually learning mathematics, you're actually doing physical activities, and you're playing a game. So you just playing this game for 30 minutes, you'll never forget prime numbers, because you want to. There's an incentivization of getting that prime number coins, and also you want to get those coins well. So
so these things that you are doing now, what has been sort of the response or questions or comments that you receive from the children who have joined?
Yes, so the biggest positive response that we have got is that children love that the avatar is actually, or they call this avatar animations or cartoon is actually teaching them, and not some other normal human being forcing them to do this. They don't feel forced anymore. They feel more free to do these activities in front of this thing. And also when it's at home and they can do it in their own space, they like to do it in their own space instead of being compared when 30 students together are doing this, and you can easily look at somebody else and you're not doing well, and all of these comparisons are there. So here, for instance, you're at home doing the exercise at your own place, and there is a very unique kind of information coming to you, only to you, and nobody else can see that information for certain kind of improvements and everything. So it's been great positive response. Children have been loving the software so far. There are some complaints from some students saying that the breaks that we give is way too much for them. They don't want the breaks.
Yeah.
So yes.
And then the parents. What about the parents? Are usually have something to say about this.
Yes, so initially parents were a little reluctant to this thing because they thought the screen time will increase. But actually, the screen time doesn't matter here at all, because the screen is at least 1.5 to 2 meters away, and you're actually mostly doing the exercise based on audio and also just the character, and your movements is just your hand gestures and all of these movements resulting in an output in this thing. So it is more of a concept of learning by doing, and it doesn't really come under the screen time that they already are used to.
Yeah. So you're doing this in Bangalore at the moment. Where else are you looking at
Yes.
doing, or how is your? Because it sounds like something that can be spread very into some very different locations and from where you're starting it from.
Yes. So we are currently demoing the product in 3 different places. In Malta, we're going to do a pilot project in Malta. Hopefully, we have 2 schools in Germany for a pilot project which will start from 15th of September, and there is 1 school in Italy again for pilot project which will start from 15th of September.
Okay, very good. Do you think this will have an impact of what kind of exercises you give, depending on the location of the schools or geography, or do you think it's going to be just universal?
I think the location or geography is not that big of a point, but it also matters to us what is the syllabus of that location, the current physical education syllabus, because we will like to cover all of those things, including theory and practical in our application. And also, there is a certain kind of level that you can use with children in the West compared to the East, which is natural genetics way of doing it. So it's not that we change the physical activities, but the intensity and all of those things, there will be a little tweak, and also in the the physical education syllabus that we use.
Yeah. So that's very interesting. So now you're doing the in India, you're looking at Malta, and you're looking at also other countries. And how do you spread the good news about this? How do you go about? Do you have people who are in different countries who are representing you, or are you all from your own chair?
Right now, it's running all from my own chair. We are a small team. Most of them are in India, and I'm currently in Germany. But yes, so I was lucky in Malta that I attended this conference along with you, so I could actually have some connections there, and they actually liked the application and came to us, and yeah, the relationship is building well. When it comes to Germany and Italy, I think the biggest advantage I had was I've been speaking to a lot of people about this in Germany, and I got an inside route through Erasmus Club. So there is a global Erasmus Club or European Erasmus Club for physical trainers or PE teachers or gymnasium teachers in the schools. So I got a contact with them, and I showed them his application. And the one beautiful thing is that PE teacher is usually always trying to do something nice for their kids, something innovative, and they're always closer to their children, and they're really loved by children and all of this. So that being an advantage for us, they really loved the application, and they are actually pushing it in these schools, both in two schools in Germany and one school in Italy. That it's going from the PE teacher side to the school, saying this is something that we have to include, something that we got to do, especially because in and the easier part is that to convince anybody of the problem that we are addressing. Everybody knows that this problem exists. Totally. Any school that we go to already knows, any PE teacher we go to already knows that this problem exists, and they can see it very clearly.
Yeah, yeah. Very interesting. The thing is that you have covering children, which is then there's there's other spectrum of people who reach sort of the silver age or the seniors who have naturally their muscles will get shrink, and they will also lose the posture, and exercising it becomes a different kind of a challenge for them. Where do you see this interesting application could be applied for other people or age groups?
Yes, very interesting that you ask. And our whole goal is that our whole way of structuring this application is providing it for people who already don't have multiple solutions. Right? We have a lot of solutions for people between 18 to 60 or 18 to 50. They can go to the gyms. They can do all kinds of applications. They have pelotons. They have cycles and all of these home gyms and everything. But people between 6 to 17 are lacking these kind of solutions, and also people over 60-year-old are lacking. Somewhere I think it can be because of the economics that it plays in people's heads, or in the people who are building these companies' heads, and it's a true problem to have, right? So when it comes to over 60 years old, we are actually kind of thinking of a solution, because we have seen that in some places or in some old people homes that we have contacted, we have found out that there is only being taught a 30 minutes physical activity exercise per week, right? It is supposed to be 30 minutes per day, but these people are only getting 30 minutes of physical activities per week. And usually even that is not completely a proper 30 minutes physical activity, because if you do it only once in a week, that 30 minutes is not effective enough. You cannot
No.
you cannot have the endurance, or you cannot have the energy to do those 30 minutes. So we want to bring a solution where we kind of connect these two dots, where maybe a person who's 60-year-old connects to their son or daughter through the avatars that we have. We can have their son or granddaughter's avatar teaching them exercise, or just doing the exercise together in a group session, creating a proper club. So it becomes like a proper bonding session, where the person who's 60 years old or more has an everyday 30 minutes time with their children and grandchildren, and also has the physical activities, and the whole group is completed with that day's physical activities, which is really important.
That's very interesting, in fact, that you can then have a multi-generation. You have your grandmother, grandfather, and the grandchildren do things together. I think that's creates a very interesting possibility to have something in common in many ways than before. So this is very, very good. Oh,
Yes, I think the motivation point also is very high here, because grandparents would do that much, would take in that extra effort to spend more time with their grandchildren, and I think the grandchildren would also do that kind of an effort for the grandparents.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting. So just kind of thinking about the evolution of human being, where originally this was based on physical exercise, and you're eating heavy, but you also burnt the calories, and then suddenly the sofa and the couch became a more important place to sit, and then between the meals. Where do you see this evolution leading to, and how big of a challenge is this now to get everyone off their couch to join these exercises?
I think it's quite a simple solution if taught in a simple way, right? Yes, like you said, the last 50,000 years of evolution or human evolution has happened through physical movements, right? And in the last 2 decades, we have cut down large part of it, like a huge part of it. And this is affecting the next generations, right? We were in a much better place. A generation before us were even much better place. Their mobility was much higher. They moved around for everything that is there. They didn't have solutions like a computer or a television to sit there for a long period of time. But right now it's completely shifted, and it is going down and down as we go. Especially, it was accelerated, I think, 3 times more just by the last 2 years of COVID-19, right? So yes, the problem is quite severe. We are seeing the effect on children already all over the world, physically, mentally, in all kinds of effects. The, so we believe that, or I believe that, if you teach a child to brush their teeth twice a day, they will do it for the rest of their life. If you teach them to do it for a year or force them to do it for 2 years, maybe not force, but in a easy way, teach them to do it, they will do it for the rest of their life. Because whenever they stop, they actually realize how bad it feels, right? And rituals are always built much better, much stronger when they are children. This is a memory that is stored completely inside, right? This memory calls to you whenever you don't do it. It tells you how bad it feels. It's a routine that keeps calling you that this is not how I'm supposed to be. I know this is not how I'm supposed to be. It's the same way if you teach a child to do physical activities every day, 30 minutes, from the age 6 to 17, like how you teach mathematics, like how you teach science or any other subject. Just teach physical education, teach them how to handle their body and mind. That's it. For the initial part of their life, they will do it for the rest of their life because they know how bad it's going to be when they don't take care of it, and they can easily jump back because there is an internal memory already holding all of the information of how to do it. So having this information, storing this information, I think is it has to be a trivial part of our education system itself, so that it can be, yeah, it can go long, far long.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. The brushing the teeth. Definitely, how we are taught as a child to brush our teeth twice a day, and it's sort of engraved into our behavior, in fact. And I think that's a very good analogy. Now, then looking very into the future, where do you see how you think you can take this to a different level? You talked already about multi-generation, making hybrid solutions. Any thoughts where is your mind going with this idea? How far are you thinking this can go?
Yes, I mean, and on the technological level, I think there is always a transition in how we perceive information, right? It started with text images, or at least on the internet, it started with text images. Then, or mobile communication, it started with text images. Then it went to images. Then we are in the video era right now. Most of the information that we get is in video era. But the next one is going to be in 3D, right? Where you are going to be able to interact and be a participant in every information that you gather, every place that you can gather, or you can see it in your own perspective, the whole information that is there, right? So keeping that in mind, that is the whole reason we built a web XR solution, web extended reality solution, where it is way more immersive than video itself. So that is exactly where we are trying to bring this solution, that the physical activities are taught in 3D, and also there is an interaction through the camera, which is tracking how you move and everything. So we want to bring this to every aspect of information that is being done, right? From education, we want to start with education. We want to start with the most important one, which is physical education, which we are doing now. But we want to teach science that way. We want to teach mathematics that way. We want to teach everything in a more gamified, more immersive, and also a two-way way of information getting. And even when it is in remote places, right?
Yeah.
Even when you don't have a proper teacher to teach you, all you need is internet access, and you get the same quality of it. You get the same fun with it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that to get everybody along, so embrace everyone to have a chance to do this in their life. So regardless of their wealth or so
Mm-hmm.
it's not only restricted to for the ones who have the funding, but give everybody a chance, because it's a really a so important topic about the health and the happiness that wellness contributes for the children, and also then for the age group of seniors who have had a great life, but then they still want to able to walk comfortably and able to move around for a few more years.
Yeah, it's more than that. I think it's just the everyday experience that you have. If you don't
Yeah,
do physical activity, if I don't do physical activity for one day, I know that day's experience is much worse than any other day that I
yeah,
do physical activities. The whole day is set up with a proper tone, and yes,
yeah.
it's just
There's that saying about exercise that if you miss one day, the second day you will notice it, and if you miss it another day,
yeah.
somebody else will notice it, that you didn't
Yeah.
do the exercise, isn't it?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, most of the time, I would try to change that a little bit. It is first day you notice it, second day you notice somebody else noticing it.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's more in terms of you, but you get it in terms of somebody else. But yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that's true. It's true. Very good, Kushal. I think this has been a very interesting topic that you shared, and also the concept that you're sharing. So we will end this discussion for this time. This has been a very interesting, where you shared your past and in the history, how you got inspired about developing this very interesting concept about helping children and to create the everyday ritual for around health and wellness, and also leading this into a experience for everyday experience, not only for the children but also for adults and seniors. So has been a very, and it really reminds me that brushing teeth twice a day is a very important thing to remember, like exercising.